Hello, I'm Kim DeStefano. I'm a transformation and meditation coach, and I want to thank you for taking this time to come and be with me today. The topic of conversation today is going to be about releasing our attachment to pain. Just saying that out loud seems sort of ridiculous because if I was to tell you, hey, look, let's today, let me help you release the attachment you have to your pain, you would think you're crazy. I'm not attached to my pain. The last thing I want to do is be in pain. And even though we feel that way and we think that way, sort of what we are doing a lot of times is really hanging on to that pain because we're attached to it for one reason or another. And I don't have the psychology really behind why we do that. I have a theory. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have worked with thousands of people and worked with myself even and noticed this pattern in myself. Is that we can actually really become attached to our story and the pain within the story. And there is a resistance sometimes to letting that go because it sort of becomes part of who we are. So let's say something happened to you 20 years ago, very traumatic. I'm not taking away any of the understanding of why you are in pain, but after 20 years and you still have pain from it, that's suffering. That's our suffering. Our accumulation of pain that we take with us, from one relationship to another, from one job to another, from one house to another, from one moment to another, that's suffering. Suffering within our minds, suffering within our bodies. It creates suffering in our bodies. Suffering within our relationships, how we connect and interact with each other, and suffering in our world as well. That internal suffering that we have bleeds out into other areas, and we then create suffering within our cultures as well. So to end that kind of suffering for your own internal is to really sort of begin to release any kind of attachment that you have to any of the stories that you're carrying or the pain that you have. It can be a little bit tricky, so be patient with yourself, but if your intent is to be able to be more present, be whatever it is, to have that loving relationship, to be able to connect better, to feel better about yourself, to be able to lose weight, whatever it is, give yourself that step and that gift of saying, okay, I'm going to just really release any kind of attachment to my pain that I may have, any attachment to my story, any attachment that I have that's creating any kind of suffering in me. I'm going to release my attachment to suffering because we can get used to being miserable. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. And this is not in judgment. This is just an awareness that this is something that we as a species, I don't know why we do it. We just do. But we could stop doing it. And that's what my encouragement is really to get to that place where you just deliberately and consciously say, okay, I'm going to release my past pain. I'm going to release any attachment I have to it. I'm going to release anything I'm carrying with me. And some people may look at that and say, okay, well then what you're trying to do really is forgive. And there's a difference here between letting go and forgiving. There is a lot of teaching around forgiveness, and there's nothing wrong with forgiveness, but true forgiveness really kind of comes when you don't have that story inside you anymore. Forgiveness sometimes can be a little mucky because we're looking at it in sort of a judgment kind of way. Hey, look, you did this crappy thing to me, and now I have to now be the better person and forgive you for it. And it's the whole dynamic, and it kind of keeps you stuck. If you are coming at it from like that, okay, this experience happened, now I have to be the better person, now I'm forgiving you, but the experience is still kind of in your space, then it hasn't you're still carrying it around. It's still part of your story. It's like, this bad thing happened, I was a better person, I forgave it, but I'm still taking it with me everywhere I go, and you're still suffering from it. Whereas if you just let it go, then it's not in you anymore. So then there's really nothing left to forgive, and then you're free of it. And that's sort of what I'm trying to encourage people to do. All of my work is really to help people, to rewind. I don't have anything against forgiving. It just depends on if you can actually get to the true essence of forgiveness. And for you, I would really think that would be just not to have it in your space anymore. That would be true forgiveness. It's not part of your story anymore. It's not something that you're carrying around or holding against or any of that. It's just not there anymore. I would kind of define that as a true form of forgiveness. It's freedom, really. Everything that my work is pointing to is to your freedoms. There's not a kind of morality to it or a judgment on it. It's like, look, this is what I'm noticing that we do as people. And if what you're doing isn't bringing you the kind of freedom and joy and experiences that you're wanting, then you probably want to stop doing that. And our attachment to our pain is definitely one of those things that are stopping us from having those kinds of life expressions that we're trying to have. So I did, with everything that I talk about here on this channel, you'll see that I have a partnering meditation and I'll have that on my website at yourtransformationisart.com, because I don't want to just leave you with these concepts like, hey, go ahead and release your attachment to your pain. And you're like, okay, like I didn't even know I was attached. Now, how do I do that? So I'm creating and have created systems to assist you in that process. You can work with me specifically in one-on-one coaching or as a consulting client, or you could just get some meditations that are there. I kept them on the low price point because I wanted everybody to be able to afford them. I don't want transformation to just be for the well-off. It's for everybody. So it's a nice low price point for you to be able to then get the help that you need. So good luck to you and much warmth. Thanks.